We have strong borders. We have no men and women's sports. Basic things. We're not going to take your child away and change the sex of your child. We're not going to do things like that. What they're doing to the country is so incredible. And they got away with it with all their woke crap, and now it's stopped. And we have a country that's based on common sense and strength.
Ladies and gentlemen, the pleb is back. In this report, well, the liberals are exactly who you thought they were, as yesterday they announced their plans to lock up people like me for social media posts that they don't like. If you can't beat them, censor them. You won't want to miss this report. Stick around. Welcome to your Friday report. It is so good to be back, but before we start, please double check that you're still subscribed. YouTube unsubscribed a lot of you during my hiatus, and I'm still hearing it in the comments, so all I'm asking is just double check that you're still subscribed. All right, before we get into the jailing for social media posts, I just want to show you guys a clip here to basically follow up on my last video, because after Mark Carney came back from Washington with no trade deal and a completely embarrassing exchange with Trump, where Trump basically roasted the transgender agenda right in front of Mark Carney when he has a trans kid. Well, Mark Carney came back to the House of Commons and received a standing ovation for being a complete failure. Clapping seals. So bad. It's a cult. These people are literally in a cult. You could literally do anything if you're liberal. You could fail, you could steal, you could screw over the country. As long as you're a liberal, it's completely okay. And your failure will be rewarded with standing ovations like this and votes at the ballot box. Now, I wanted to start off this episode with a laugh, because what I'm about to cover next is not funny at all. Now, when I was in Ottawa this week, you guys know I met with Bob Zimmer. He posted the picture. But I met with a couple of other MPs privately, and one very prominent MP told me, "Pleb, Bill C-8 is being introduced to censor people like you." And he confirmed to me that my tweets, my videos on YouTube drive the liberal establishment absolutely nuts. And what do the liberals do when they can't win an argument? Well, they don't try to study and come up with better arguments. They go straight for the censorship, like we saw at committee this week, where the liberals want to introduce plans, just like the UK, to lock up people for social media posts that they don't like.
Thank you for being with us today. C9 makes reference specifically with hate symbols to public spaces. Just to confirm, does that include the internet?
Generally speaking, the law will apply equally online as it does in real communities.
So this bill will affect what people can say and write on the internet?
Just in the limited circumstances where there is the willful promotion of hatred against
It will apply
someone.
to the internet. The internet is within the jurisdiction of...
It would be possible that someone could commit a hate crime on the internet, certainly.
So, building off of Mr. Baber's points about the lower threshold for the definition of speech, there is, under this law, assuming Bill C-9 passes, something that might not be legal to say today on the internet. Or it might be legal to say on the internet, could actually be illegal in the future under C-9, could it not?
No, that's entirely inaccurate, and I say that with no judgment to your perspective, but let me explain. The only circumstance where you could imagine some online comment attracting scrutiny under this law would attach to behavior that is criminal today but would be punished less severely. The symbols piece that you pointed to, for example, is attached only to the willful promotion of hate. This is not a blanket symbols ban. The willful promotion of hate is a crime today, but we want to recognize a distinct charge where that same behavior uses certain symbols of hate to bring a higher degree of culpability. So there is no new human behavior that would attract the scrutiny.
I understand, but I'm building off of the discussion earlier on the definition. Is your view that the change in wording, and there was a change in wording, you made a deliberate decision to change the definition that was spelled out in Keekstra and reaffirmed in Watcott. Is your view that your definition in C9 will not capture anything beyond what is currently captured right now by the hate definition?
Good question. Good question. We already have hate laws here. They've already knocked on people's doors for social media posts. It seems like the Liberals want more power than they already have.
The definition was an attempt to codify, and the reason that there was a... This is a yes or no question, Minister.
Is there at all a lower threshold or a broader net on hate in Canada after C9 if it passes?
My view on the definition question, because the offenses I would give a different answer to you for, but on the definition, my view is that it codifies the same behavior that is there today, and it was meant to provide clearer guidance to law enforcement in the criminal code to apply the existing standard that has been recognized by the Supreme Court.
Because the same arguments that are being used by you and your government to push Bill C9 to protect people against hate, which on the surface sounds incredibly noble, but these arguments are the same arguments that have led to the United Kingdom having police literally knocking on people's doors over their tweets. So what guarantee can you give Canadians that we are not headed down that very road, especially in the context of other priority areas identified by you and your government, such as the Online Harms Act, which was introduced twice, actually, in the last two parliaments?
So this legislation is not identical in kind to the reforms that have been put in place in the UK, and we've actually looked at their experience and see that there are real challenges with how it's played out. For example, we've got a different approach where some jurisdictions around the world have adopted a more blanket glorification that could attract the scrutiny of a liking a Facebook post, for example, and we chose a different path. We instead tried to be very clear that we would not interfere with the charter rights of Canadians to freely express themselves, but at the same time make it easier to lay charges where hate crimes are committed today. To the extent that you think there is a better way to clarify and codify the existing definition, do know that I believe in Parliament, and I don't care which party comes forward with these amendments. If it creates multi-partisan buy-in to codify the test, that's okay by me.
Can you guarantee that if C9 passes, no Canadian will end up being charged because of something they've posted on Twitter or Facebook?
Well, if they commit the crime of willfully promoting hatred against another person,
a crime with a definition that you're changing.
So, but it's possible that they could be convicted for what they willfully promoting hate online today. So certainly I would hope if someone commits a crime in the real world or online that they would face the appropriate criminal penalty if in fact it's captured by the code.
We had in my riding a very disturbing case a few weeks ago where someone had mowed a swastika, a Hakenkreuz I should say, into their lawn and was charged under the existing criminal code definition. They displayed a symbol. It was found to be willfully promoting hate. Law enforcement and the Crown agreed that they could lay that charge. So why is your bill at all necessary when we already have existing powers, which, to Mr. Housefather's point earlier, are simply not being enforced as often as they could be?
This is an important question. I'll answer it very quickly. When you have the willful promotion of hate, the person who's convicted of that could still be convicted, but also of a second charge, the willful promotion of hate using hate symbols, which would attract a greater degree of culpability and potentially a greater penalty, recognizing that the use of hate symbols, when you're willfully promoting hate, can cause greater damage to both the individual and the entirety of the community. So I don't find these points to be inconsistent with one another, but instead that behavior could potentially face an additional charge with a more serious penalty because of the manner in which a person chose to promote hate to cause more damage to an affected community.
Well done, Andrew. Well done. One thing I've learned covering these Liberals is do not give these psychopaths any more power. Now, we see what happened in the UK, where people are literally getting arrested for posting memes saying Sharia law doesn't belong in the UK. And they're getting like arrested for memes like that. And knowing the Liberals, they're going to arrest Canadians for the dumbest things imaginable. You know, because according to the left, words are violence. And when I spoke to this MP this week, what the liberals are not telling you in this is that they want to give themselves powers to ban people entirely from the internet. You will be banned from all telecommunications, internet, social media. And the craziest part is, if you reopen another account, you could be sent to jail for that. You will be sent to jail. Giving extra powers to people who literally believe that words are violence is probably not a good idea. And we'll probably get arrested for photoshopping our leaders or making fun of our politicians. We're definitely heading down a scary road. And if you don't think these laws are going to be used in a very terrible way, I mean, the National Council for Muslims of Canada came out today and said they want to use these hate law speeches to get us to stop posting negatively about immigration from the Middle East.
So the National Council of Canadian Muslims, they're calling for real change here. They want all elected officials to stop using Islamophobic rhetoric, particularly when it comes to discussions around immigration and whether or not immigrants or Muslims belong in Canada.
You see? This is where we're heading. We are heading down a dark path here in Canada with these hate speech laws, and it's going to be funny to me when the liberals throw me in prison for tweets that are considered advertiser friendly on X and are completely monetized. And it's absolutely crazy that I can go to prison in Canada for saying I don't want people to immigrate here who celebrate terrorism in the streets. This would be considered hate speech under these new laws, and we have to absolutely stop it. Anyways, folks, that's it for today's report. I want you guys to tell me in the comments, what do you guys think of these hate speech laws that they want to introduce? Is this going to make our country better? Are they going to use these powers for good? Also, how many of you are going to be joining me in prison for their Facebook and Twitter posts? Who's joining the pleb in the gulag? Tell me in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed today's report, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. My name is the pleb, and I'm officially back. I'll see you at the next report. Peace.